Up until this point, we've been using our Arduino simply as a power supply to create a circuit. We can do a lot more powerful and interesting things when we start using the processor on the Arduino to actually code things up and add some intelligence to our circuits. So that means we're going to have to learn how to write code. So if we come up here and click on this button here that says code, by default it will open up into something that you may recognize if you've done something like Scratch programming before. It's called block programming. We're not going to do that. We're going to switch over to text-based coding. So text-based coding initially might seem a little more difficult. However, it gives us a lot more power. We can do a whole lot more with text-based coding that we could never do with block-based coding. And so that's what we're going to learn in this course. So we're not going to worry about this code at the moment. All this code does is actually make this little onboard light on the Arduino flash every so often. But we're not going to worry about that right now. We're going to go over to a different website and we're going to start learning just the absolute basics of coding. So if you go to this site, REPL.it, which is repl.it, you can sign up and have an account, and then that way you can write programs, and when you log in next time those programs will still be there. Or you can just start a new REPL, which is what I'm going to do for this case. Now, the programming language we're going to use, you can see there's lots and lots of different languages that you can use in REPL. We're going to go C++ because that's the language that we use on the Arduino. So I'll create REPL. And you can see now the page is loading up, and it's broken up into 3 different sections. So the section all the way to the left here, that shows our files. So you can actually write a program that has many files that make up the program. All the programs we write, however, we're going to be just doing in a single file. The next section here is our actual code that we write. And the third section, that's an interface that we can talk to the program, we can give input into a program, and we can receive information from the program in a text-based way. Now before I start explaining this code, let's just give it a run to see what it does. Okay, on the right here we can see that Clang is what's called a compiler, and what it's done is it's taken our file, which is main.cpp, and it's taken that code that we can understand that's written in words that somewhat relate to English. So some of them are special characters, but some of it you can read. And it's taken that human readable program and converted it into something a computer can understand, which is a lot of ones and zeros. It's called binary. And then once it's done that, this line here, this ./main, tells the computer to run that program that we've just created. And then finally, this is the output of the program. So in the program, we've actually said, I want you to write to the console, hello world. And over here on the console, it's written out hello world. So let's have a quick look at this program. This section here will be included in any programs you do in REPL. Basically what it means is up here it says I want to be able to read and write to the console, to this window over here. So that's what that first line is. This next line, whenever you see main, that means this is where my program starts. So this is my main program. Anything written between this open curly brace here and this closing curly brace here, that's my main program, that's what it will run. Down the track you'll see that we can actually break programs up into multiple sections, but the section that will get run is our main section, and that can call other sections if it needs to. And then lastly, this line here, this is our command to send something to the console. So this little section here says, from our standard libraries, basically libraries are sets of code that have been written already for us. So there's some code that can take words like here, this, and put it out onto the console. So we don't have to write the code that does that. We just have to write this in to say this is what we want to happen, and the code that's been written to do console out, that code will get run. Okay, so with this line, if you ever want to write something to console, you do standard ::, cout. Cout stands for console out. This next little thing here, the double left arrows or the less thans, This is called a streaming operator. So basically what it does is anything that's on this side, it takes that and it pushes it in to this code here. So when we run this program, it'll take hello world and it'll push it into the console. Now you'll see there's a special little character on here that's got \n, and you'll see in our output we don't see a \n. So that's a special character that's not visible. Basically what that means is start a new line. So if I went hello world, how's things, and I run that, even though this string is all on the one line, you can see the output has given me across two lines. If I put another \n on the end, then you can see now I've got a new line at the bottom as well. Okay, so that explains basic output. So you should fire up REPL.it and run the default program and make sure everything's working. In the next video, we'll look at getting some input from the user, doing some sort of operation, and then printing the result back out to the user.